An absolutely gorgeous day in downtown Chicago, but it's all about the night here in the Windy City. Tonight, 6 remaining spots in the PFL World Tournament will be spoken for. 3 divisions, including the big boys, the heavyweights. Nowhere to run, and nowhere to hide.
And let's not forget about those showcase fights. We've got some big names getting in the cage, like Biagio Ali Walsh and Sergio Pettis.
It's really all about the semifinals, especially at 205 pounds. Veterans with championship credentials going up against rising, talented, freak stars. Is it the veterans or the rising stars that emerge victorious, Randy?
It's going to be interesting. Mr. Wonderful Phil Davis, the national champion from Penn State, facing an Arizona State wrestler, but he's a little more than a wrestler. He's a Golden Gloves boxing champion in Sullivan Colley. Who's going to go out and impose their will? Is it a changing in the guards in that weight class?
My eyes are on the middleweights this evening. You've got Dalton Roster getting his rematch and hopefully his revenge against Aaron Jeffrey. And in the main event, Fabian Edwards taking on Josh Silveira. Really, really high-level MMA. It's going to be a great fight.
One shot for me means one shot to better my family's life.
He actually relishes the role of being the villain.
Terrifying individual.
One shot to prove that I'm one of the best in the world.
Oh my God!
One shot to me refers to my straight right hand, which not many people can take.
One shot, that means every moment counts. Every single practice, every single day, every single fight.
I don't care who you name, put them in front of me, they're going down.
Perfection, no mistakes.
A nasty right elbow! Smooth!
Just one shot, just achieve being a world champion.
It's all or nothing, it's do or die. So you get one shot.
Unbelievable for Mr. Wonderful!
Don't blow it.
The PFL journey has brought us to Chicago, Illinois for another semifinal event. 3 weight classes, middleweights, light heavyweights, and heavyweights on deck tonight at Wintrust Arena. Everybody made weight, everybody weighed in, ready to try and book a ticket to August, which is finals month. There's some of the heavyweights we referenced. Smooth Simeon Powell and Shoeface squaring off. Sullivan Colley versus Mr. Wonderful. How about that one, a rematch? And your main event, Fabian Edwards and Josh Silveira. Welcome to the PFL World Tournament pre-fight show, coming at you from Chicago. Sean O'Connell, Randy Couture, Dan Hardy. I already mentioned it, 3 straight semifinal events, and the fights so far, Randy, have delivered. Even the decisions have been technical back and forth battles.
Been amazing. In 64 fights and fighters, we've had 70% finish rate, which is ridiculous. Amazing fights across the board.
Let's talk about that finish rate, Dan. We've had some knockouts, some slick submissions. Do we get more tonight?
Oh, I think so, absolutely. I mean, we've got the 3 biggest weight classes. Like, you look at these guys move fast, but every single thing the heavyweights throw is with power. But look at that heavyweight power with Gadzi there, dropping Kevin Lee with a jab, looking super sharp in probably the best performance and certainly the best win of his career. Seals his ticket to the finals there. I mean, just a dominant performance, really, really incredible. Nothing less than we expected, really.
That was last week's main event. Gaji Rabadanov with another knockout victory, and he will take on Alfie Davis, who twice now this year has been an underdog in the quarterfinal and the semifinal. He pulls off the upset. Look where he's at. Now the toughest test of his career in August for a lightweight tournament championship. On the other side of things last week was the women's flyweights. This is a theme that we're going to see again tonight. The old school veteran Liz Carmouche against Elora Donna, who early in her career is still undefeated. Well, was undefeated, Randy.
Elora Donna ran into it. My favorite little Marine, Liz Carmouche. Amazing fight IQ, tons of experience. The first female fighter in the UFC. She is a pioneer in this sport. Amazing Elora Donna was an amazingly tragic story that she showed resilience, come through, raised herself, and is an amazing competitor. I think brought more to Carmouche than Carmouche expected.
So Jenna Bishop She advances against Ekaterina Shakalova, and she will take on Liz Carmouche. Both of those women with incredible grappling credentials. Carmouche, of course, the far more experienced fighter in MMA. And that brings us to tonight. Middleweights, light heavyweights, and heavyweights. Let's start with the 185-pounders. Fabian Edwards, last time out, against a former light heavyweight champion in the PFL, Impica Sanganay, going back down to 185 pounds. And Dan, Fabian Edwards told us exactly what he was going to do. He went out and he executed perfectly.
It was a beautiful performance, and it was the right balance of aggression and patience. He knew that Kasanganay was going to crash forward. He had that elbow waiting for him, but at the same time, he didn't let him put off the hook when he saw he was hurt. That was a really big win and a big statement for Fabian as well to move into this fight.
How about Dalton Rasta taking on another former PFL champion? Sada Boussi once had the strap at 170 pounds, now up to a more natural weight class for himself. But Dalton Rasta with the submission victory announces his presence in this tournament.
Absolutely, and announces it in grand style. Great performance. Dealt with the long-range weapons of Sada Boussi very, very effectively. Put Sada on the ground, found the Darce choke, and got it done. He did a great deal with Valor there, pouring Valor all over himself in the cage. What an amazing performance by Dalton Rasta.
And that sets up a rematch. Dalton Rasta only has one loss on his record, and that loss came to Aaron Jeffrey in the Bellator cage. He has wanted a shot at clawing that one back, and he's got one tonight in Chicago. For more on that, Kennedy Smith.
You guys said it. We've got a big rematch here tonight. Dalton Rasta taking on Aaron Jeffrey. And Dalton had quite a lot to say about it leading up to this fight.
Having more muscle mass does, tend to cause someone to fatigue faster. And I didn't think I had a problem with it. And then I had that fight with Aaron Jeffrey, and I gassed out.
And ground and pound, Aaron Jeffrey looking to put the finishing touches on Dalton Rasta.
I learned the hard way that it was a problem. Since learned from those mistakes and filled those holes. So I took a weakness and made it a strength. Aaron Jeffrey was my only loss. He owns the one on the other side of my record.
He's in major trouble.
I know what I have to do. I know how I have to fight him. I've been in there with him.
I feel like Dalton's a little bit salty, and I think he's putting a little bit more weight into this whole rematch thing.
I know I'm the better fighter, and I've only gotten better since I've grown. I've evolved.
I have no personal beef. I don't give a shit about the last one. To me, it's just another fight.
I'm gonna knock him out in the second round.
Choke is tight.
100% in the second round.
Dalton Rasta, sufficient finish.
I could say I'm in his head or whatever, but no, I think it's funny that he's talking and makes it fun.
Elbows and knees.
Aaron Jeffrey, train as hard as you possibly can, because I want no excuses, and I want you to know that you did everything you possibly could, and I was just the better fighter.
That was great stuff from our PFL Origins team. You can watch more of that over on the PFL YouTube channel. I don't know who's going to win this one. Is it going to be Mr. Confident or a madman out for revenge? We'll see here in a couple hours. Sean?
Thank you, Kennedy. So no matter how these middleweight semifinals shake out, we're going to get a great final. That we can be assured of,
Absolutely. Going to be a great one. Whoever advances, any of those guys match up really, really nicely. It's going to be good.
All right, who else is on deck tonight? The big boys, the heavyweights. The flashback shows you that Alexander Romanov, making his PFL debut, taking on a tough veteran of the sport. He snatched a hold of Tim Johnson's neck, and he cranks this submission. And I think there was a rib injury there. That was just a lot of torque, Randy.
Yeah, great big guy. If he gets a hold of you, it's like a polar bear trying to tear you down. He's a huge competitor from Moldova. Very, very good combative sports athlete.
And he's got a really interesting stylistic matchup because he cuts. Romanov cuts to make 265 pounds. Valentin Moldavsky walks around at his fight weight, about 235 pounds, and he had a tough bout in the first round of the tournament to get to the semifinal.
He did, but absolutely, you know, he was matched up against someone that had the same kind of physical attributes, a smaller heavyweight that was faster. Valentin Moldavsky is going to be the smaller, faster guy in this one, and he has to use that to his advantage.
On the other side of the bracket, Rodrigo Nascimento and Oleg Popov. Remember, Popov, at one point last year, he was riding the longest heavyweight win streak in all of mixed martial arts. He got that taken away from him in a championship final. He's back looking for a championship in 2025. And how about light heavyweight? 205-pounders are the best athletes in the sport, and everyone's favorite, of course. Smooth Simeon Powell, he emerges from the PFL Europe scene. Dan, we saw some really good things from him there, but we never saw him quite this good. And I think it's the elbows.
Man, I agree with you. I mean, you know, he's got such dangerous clinch work anyway with his knees. We've seen that in previous fights. With the addition of elbows, he just becomes an even greater threat at close range. And with that long reach that he's got, and I keep saying it, Simeon Powell has the longest reach in mixed martial arts, and he's using it very, very well. But that makes him dangerous in the clinch as well with those sharp elbows. I'm expecting a big night from him tonight.
Reminds me of a young John Jones with that size and that reach.
Exactly.
How about Phil Davis taking on the former PFL champ, Rob Wilkinson? Doesn't matter, Mr. Wonderful had not yet fought in the PFL Smart Cage. Doesn't matter that he'd been away for more than a year. He throws that fastball right hand, and more of what we expect from a guy with those championship credentials.
Mr. Wonderful is an amazing athlete. National champion for the Nittany Lions at Penn State. Great wrestling pedigree. Not afraid to let his hands go, as athletic as they come, stepping in that smart cage.
And look at this. It's young, rising talent against two guys who've already had gold around their waist, who've already been at the pinnacle of the sport, not just for a short time, but for years and years. Maybe a theme, potentially a changing of the guard. We'll see. Jonathan Coachman, we have yet to hear from him on our PFL World Tournament pre-fight show. Coach, what took you so long?
So as the night really even started, Sean, if I haven't shown up yet, gentlemen, good evening once again. Now, when we talk about Phil Davis, now he has seen it all and done it all in the world of MMA, but when you look at him, you don't see or hear a 40-year-old that may be ready to hang it up. Just the opposite. Seems like somebody wants to hang around, teach these young cats around these parts what it's like to have longevity and sustainability. He sat down with me this week, a part of Coach's Conversations. All right, the last time you and I sat here, you were getting ready to go in, and I thought you had such a dynamic knockout. How much fun was that for you to get the win that way?
It was a good time. It was definitely a good time.
Almost every fighter to a person has loved this tournament format as opposed to two regular seasons. But it also is a quick turnaround, but you know when you're fighting and who right away. Right. Have you enjoyed that part of it?
I definitely love that. You know, it removes a little bit more of the politics, and it's very linear. You know, I can follow, the fans can follow, and you can kind of see the momentum building into the finals.
There's an art to knowing I'm fighting at 11 o'clock at night or 10 o'clock at night. This is also on ESPN. You've done that so many different times. Do you think that the situation will be an advantage for you?
I hope it doesn't affect them. I hope it doesn't affect them. I want to be the best Sullivan Cully that has been produced to date. He's a fresh young lion, and I haven't forgotten that moment that he's feeling right now, the moment when I stepped up for my first main event versus Antonio Nogueira, Little Nog, and Chiarina. I remember when I was in the position he is, I refused to lose that fight, and I haven't forgotten that feeling. And so that allows me to say, I cannot look past this person. I cannot take this lightly.
That's what competitors say.
Yeah.
And you're a hell of one.
He seems certainly in the right headspace. Here was the scene on Thursday at the weigh-in. Sullivan Cully told me, hey, I'm ready to make a name for myself. A win over Phil Davis will certainly do that for the young bruiser with great striking in the light heavyweight division. Now, we want to be interactive. We want you to vote tonight. Download that QR code, courtesy of Verdict, and vote on all of the semifinals tonight, including Phil Davis and Sullivan Colley. Now, with more, let's send it over to the social media queen, Kennedy.
Thank you, Coach. Guys, we're going to be starting a new segment that I think we're going to be calling Kennedy's DMs. Don't ask me how we came to that name, but I've been asking you guys on all of the PFL social channels to send in questions, whether it be about this world tournament, whether it be about fighters, or things you just want to ask us. So we've got a couple ones here. We're going to knock them out. You ready to go?
Sure. Yeah, sure.
All right. Dom is asking, is Gadzi Rabadanov the best pound-for-pound fighter in the PFL? Giving this one to you, Sean.
Well, I mean, look, you can certainly make a case, especially with his dominance recently. It's been 5.5 years since he's lost. Is he 11 or 12 wins in a row? And I think now we're 5, 6 knockouts. I mean, you're starting to lose track. The wild thing about it for me, Dan and Kennedy, is the fact that for Gadzi, he just decided he needed to be this dominant. He decided that his wins weren't enough. He needed to finish people. He needed to get fans by getting knockouts. And he just flipped that switch and turned it on. I'm totally impressed by him. And if he's not the best pound for pound, he's at least top 3. By the way, Kennedy, the Michael Jackson look is wonderful.
Stop it. Don't gas me up. All right, we can do more of that later. Dan, this one is for you. We've got a question from Edson. Is the Forbidden Door realistically open now for Francis Ngannou versus John Jones in the PFL?
Look, I was talking about this the other day with the guys on Sub Radio. We have to make this fight. It's the one to make. Look, Tom Aspinall is the UFC heavyweight champion, but there's just nobody in their rankings that I'm interested in watching him fight. He needs his first big title defense against a big name. I would love a co-promotion. I suggested it the other day, let's bring Pride back, let's bring the blue gloves back, let's make a special belt for it. The main thing we need to see is Ngannou versus Aspinall to answer the big question.
All right, my favorite question of the night. Mike wants to know, of Sean, Randy, Dan, or Coach, who gives Kennedy the best run for her money in a race? Sean, I'm gonna let you answer this because I think you're gonna gas me up.
Look, Kennedy's fast.
Yup.
D1 collegiate sprinter. That's real speed. Coach is slow as hell. We know
Coach
that.
Coach is not in this conversation.
Wrestlers don't really typically have sprinter speed. Dan is the wild card here because as an outlaw, he probably ran away from the sheriff of Nottingham every once in a while. We don't know what his sprinting speed is really like. But look, I played some football back in the day.
Way back in the day.
Like
way back in the day.
My 40-yard dash time was, so.
Pretty good.
I think, look, I'm the youngest of those guys, so I'm going to say I'm also the fastest.
And I'm still half your age. All right, we're going to leave it at nobody's beating me. If you guys want to check out some of these fights and join in on our conversation, know what we're talking about, download the PFL app and go ahead and send us more questions. We can do this again next week. All right, back to you, Coach.
Clearly somebody didn't let Kennedy know that was a one-time thing. All right, it's time to lock it in with my man Ian Parker, who's going to make a little bit of cash for us here tonight. Now, Ian, you know where we're going to start. Parker's Parlay. Give it to me.
Coach, I thought you would have won that race if it was up to me, but we're going to go with a 3-leg Parker's Parlay. We're going to start off with Oleg's pop-off. I think he gets it done against Rodrigo Nascimento. We're going to take Rafael Xavier at -194. This is someone who lost a very close decision to Simeon Powell. Good hands. Albrecht just got knocked out. Don't like that. Last but not least, Diageo Ali Walsh takes us to +119. Let's go.
All right, how about something with a little bit longer odds to make more cash?
Coach, you asked, you shall receive. The long shot. This one's going to be a lot of fun this week. Also, 3 legs. We are going to start off with Simeon Powell to win by KO or TKO. I think if he gets it done, it will be in the later rounds after Shootface gas himself. Sullivan Colley by knockout or TKO, and Sergio Pettis by decision at a +12,050. That is a long shot amongst long shots.
Let's get quickly to the betting rundown. Some straight plays. What do you like here?
Well, Parker's pre and play this week. I'm going to go with Dalton Rosta here. I think he was obviously since he lost to Aaron Jeffrey. That performance against Saddam Hussein was flawless. I didn't love what I saw to Jeffrey in that last fight. Give me Alexander Romanov at plus 148. I do not think he should be the dog here. Coach, we're bringing point spreads back. Sergio Pettis plus 3.5 means he has to win one round on every scorecard, lose 29-28, and we cover. Last but not least, main event to go the distance at minus 168. Let's go.
You're darn right. Let's go. Ian Parker will be here throughout the evening, live betting and recapping all of our best bets as well. Now, speaking of our main event, one half is Fabian Edwards. He said after his first round knockout, we should have been doing elbows a long time ago. He walked in yesterday and he goes, oh, with a big old fat smile on his face, maybe I'm going to do it again. He sat down with me for Coach's Conversation. All right, let's get right to it. Fabian Edwards, man, welcome back to Coach's Conversations. And the last time you were here, shockingly, you were in a main event.
Shockingly.
You did. And I want to talk about that win over Impa before we move to Friday night, because you said after the fight, man, we should have had elbows a long time ago, is what you said. You really utilized those to your advantage. Was that a game plan in, getting into that fight? Or did it just happen?
Yeah, no, it was a game plan. We looked at Impa, and there's two ways to fight him. You either fight him all the way out, or you're crashing in. And my timing with my elbows is a thing of beauty, so I knew that would present itself because the style of fight that Impa is, so yeah, it worked out perfect.
Is there a satisfaction when maybe the public or the sports books or whoever doesn't think that you're the favorite, then you go out there and you perform like the favorite?
Yeah, there is. It's kind of like middle finger tears. You know what I mean? It's like, really, you wrote me off. I'm a guy that I've never written myself off after a loss or anything. I've always thought I can beat these guys, even the guys I've lost against. On that last event, it was about going out there and reminding everyone that I am the guy. You know what I mean?
I am the guy.
I am the guy, and I'm going to take out your guy, and I've done that.
What version of Josh do you think you're going to see on Friday night?
I always expect the best version, because you've got to bring your best, but I've seen Josh. I know what Josh does. I know his little tricks that he does, and I'm ready for it, so I won't be surprised by anything.
Always appreciate it, brother.
I appreciate it,
man.
Thank you.
You got it. Cool, calm, and collected. Time now for the PFL World Tournament Roundtable. Three of the best minds in the business. Dan Hardy, I'm going to start with you on this one. It's a Phil Davis question. What kind of problems does a guy with his experience pose for a guy like Sullivan Colley?
Look, you're going to struggle to surprise him, right? Every single place that you could potentially take Phil Davis, he's been there, and he's been there against some of the highest level fighters in the sport, Ryan Bader being one of them, who's a training partner of Sullivan Colley. I think that experience is really, really valuable, but of course, Sullivan Colley starts fast, he's got a lot of horsepower, and that's something that kind of evens the playing field in these kind of fights.
It's a dynamic back and forth, two different styles. Sean, let me come over to you, because a lot of attention this week has been on Dalton Rasta, a lot of attention that he wanted. He's young, he's hungry, he looks like $10 million. What have you made of some of these young guns coming in this tournament and really taking over?
Well, look, it shows that if you're a veteran in this sport, you better keep evolving, you better stay in shape, and you better be ready to take on a name that you don't know yet. Dalton Rasta has a beautiful resume. He's got incredible training partners. I guess I would trade for, that physique, I suppose. But really what's important about him is the fact that he is a true mixed martial artist. A lot of the old guard are dudes that started off as grapplers. They were wrestling specialists. They were boxers or kickboxers. That's a guy who was a football player, and as soon as he jumped into the sport, he was a mixed martial artist at a big-time gym right from the beginning. We're seeing that in every weight class. He's a good representation of it.
No doubt about it. He wants the bright lights here tonight. Randy, let me come over to you, because so many of the guys, especially guys that are new here in the PFL, like Fabian Edwards, have made so much of the fact that now elbows are legal. Do you think it's adding a certain level of excitement to the fights this year?
Well, I think it changes things tactically, certainly on the ground. If you can trap a guy on the ground and pin him up, hem him up, get some posture, you can land those elbows. Fabian uses them great from the clinch. He's able to create those spaces and rip those elbows through that gap. And that's a game changer for a lot of guys. It's a very lethal weapon in the sport. I made a living with it myself.
Well, I tell you what, guys, you get settled in. We're going to have fights here in a couple of minutes. But there's also a big-time name that's not in the World Tournament fighting tonight. Let's send it over to Kennedy.
Thanks, Coach. Biagio, what's your take on your opponent tonight, Ronnie Gibbs?
I don't think he's ready for what he signed up for. So, yeah, I'm just going to go in there and be myself.
How much would it mean to you to be able to win this fight tonight on such a big stage and then continue your undefeated record?
It means a lot to me, you know. I came into this sport looking to just keep learning, and I feel like I'm getting better and better. So, yeah, this win means a lot. You know, my family and friends are out here. They're all from Chicago. So, yeah, I'm really excited.
Well, speaking of family, your grandfather is the legend Muhammad Ali, and then your brother Nico is a professional boxer. So what does it mean to you to be able to kind of carry on the Ali family fighting?
Yeah, it means a lot to me, you know. I'm always going to live in his shadow, you know, even my brother too. But I'm looking to make my own name, you know, do my own thing. I'm in a different sport, you know. My grandfather didn't fight in MMA, so I'm looking to carve my own path.
All right, awesome. Good luck tonight. Coach?
Thank you, Kennedy. There are so many different names that have come in this year to the PFL that certainly want to be the star of stars. Well, tonight, 3 different divisions have an opportunity to do that. What a resounding positive reaction. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the PFL World Tournament now. We are 2 weeks into the 2025 PFL World Tournament semifinals, and the action just keeps heating up. This week, our middleweights, light heavyweights, and heavyweights all take center stage for their chance at a coveted spot in the World Tournament Finals in August. We start things off in the heavyweight bracket, where the stoic Russian, Oleg Popov, looks to silence a hard-hitting Brazilian, Rodrigo Nascimento. Then, it's an Eastern European showdown, as Russia's Valentin Moldavsky takes on Moldova's powerhouse Alexander King Kong Romanov. In our light heavyweight semifinals, the co-main event features former world champion Phil Davis, who will be looking to make another dramatic statement in a high-stakes clash against fellow American Sullivan Colley. And in our other light heavyweight semifinal, 2021 PFL champion Antonio Carlos Jr. Shoeface goes head-to-head with the budding British superstar Simeon Smooth Powell. Over in our middleweight bracket, Canada's Aaron Jeffrey meets America's Dalton Hercules Rasta in a heated rematch. The only man to beat Rasta now stands between him and a shot at the title. And in the must-watch main event, the assassin Fabian Edwards has his sights on another crack at a championship belt as he faces PFL veteran Josh Silveira. It's the final week of the PFL World Tournament semifinals, and it starts right now. If tonight is like all of our other nights, it's going to be an absolute banger. Here's our main card tonight, right around 9:30 p.m. Eastern time, local time here in Chicago. 5 different fights. Look at those, starting with the first fight. What an absolute banger. Now, as soon as the fights are over tonight, check out the post-fight show. Sean, the boys, Kennedy, myself, live on the PFL MMA YouTube page and also ESPN Plus, and a full post-fight press conference as well. The time has arrived. You can feel the vibe. You can feel the excitement. Who's going to punch their ticket tonight to the finals in August? We're about to find out. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to the PFL. Let's go.
July 19th is PFL's historic arrival in Africa. PFL Cape Town. The middleweight champion.
Johnny Edlin pouring on the pressure, and he's out!
Against the towering finisher. And the new face of MMA, Dakota Ditcheva.
Dakota silences the doubter.
Plus, the launch of the PFL's 3rd regional league, PFL Africa.
I am the king of Africa.
This is PFL Cape Town.
Fabian Edwards with the finish.
Is that the step to greatness?
If you like violence, then that's why you should tune in.
Good night. That was spectacular.
I feel like I go out there, I pick people apart. If I see them a little bit hurt, I ain't gonna try to take them out.
Why should a fan tune into a Phil Davis fight? Y'all ever see a dead body?
Unbelievable for Mr. Wonderful.
Someone could get knocked out. Someone most likely will get knocked out.
Lights out
I like to use all of my tools to my advantage.
Legendary, this is legacy.
The PFL brings you the biggest fights with the biggest stars. And now, the official PFL app is here. Stream live fights